4 a.m., August 11th, 2021. Thought I might start this video out like that because this is my personal diary. And you're welcome to read my diary and write in it. But that's a lot of what this video has been, this YouTube channel. So I'll get right to it because this video's for Doug. Because this is a burning desire that I've been having for a few days now. Only been up for like 10 minutes, so the bags under my eyes are still very prevalent. Make that 5 minutes. But this burning desire has been burning every day for a week or so. And I'm making this video because some people seem to have a self-serving selective memory. And some of the things I've done are the reason that I get the grace card that I get. Because I raised the bar and went above and beyond when it really mattered. Put it all on the line. Put other people first. Instead of gimme, gimme, me first. And showed love in a family, in a community, in a culture where there was no love, or where I was showing more love than was in the community that I lived in. And I've said it before, we all have the option to raise the bar. In some cultures, they chop off your hand for stealing a loaf of bread, and you can say, no, that's not right. In some cultures, they marry their 12-year-old cousin. You can say, no, that's not right. You cannot raise the bar by adhering to the cultural standards and norms of the community and culture you live in. You must develop a personally relevant, personally meaningful set of standards, principles, and priorities. So I'm going to name a few incidents here. This is all pertaining to Doug, and it may go other directions. So just a couple of things that come to mind in one particular. So I'll just name the first one that's probably not going to get me as heated as the second one. I think I was, it's hard to put a year on this and tell you how old I was. Oh, I can tell you how old I was at this point. It was 24 years old. When I had some fucked up teeth and they were putting me through a lot of pain. Some days I wouldn't be able to go to work. Other days I'd call in sick, my teeth are killing me. 20 minutes later, I'd feel fine. It's a shooting, throbbing pain that goes right to the center of your fucking skull and makes you wish you were dead. There's nothing like tooth pain. Nerve pain. And my grandpa at the time, we didn't have enough money, but he said he'd get my teeth fixed for me. And my mom tells me one day, Grandpa says he'll pay to get your teeth fixed. What about Doug? I said. No, he said he won't pay to get Doug's fixed because Doug had more fucked up teeth than me. And he was the central pillar of support in this household. And Grandpa wrote him off still at the time like just another one of Mom's boyfriends. I don't blame him, because there was a long line of pieces of shit that came before him. But we're a blended family here, like a Brady Bunch. Doug and his 4 daughters, my mom, myself, and my sister. And there was always a wedge between the family. The 4 girls thought Mom was like the wicked stepmom. We are not one family. We're all second-class citizens in our own house. Melanie and Mariah are a priority each and every time, no matter what happens. And we're like second-class citizens in our own house. And they would express this to their dad on a regular basis. We're not one family. It's what's yours and what's mine is yours, and what's yours is yours. And when she told me, Grandpa says he'll pay to fix your teeth, but not Doug's, I said, well, then I'm not going to do that to this family because that'll drive a wedge between this family that will never be able to be removed. So she, okay. Comes back a day or two later. Says, okay, Grandpa says he'll pay to get Doug's teeth fixed too. Now will you go make those appointments at the dentist? I said, well, yeah, as soon as Doug gets his teeth fixed. Well, you didn't say Doug first, you just said Doug too. Well, I said, no, Doug first. Then you get with me about making those appointments and I'll go get my teeth fixed. Okay. He goes and gets his teeth fixed, and this will come into story number 2, because his old buddy, Ricky, called, "Hey, dog! Hey, dog!" And he tells me one day, "Dog, he thinks my accent is too thick and I can't just say Doug. But no, I call him dog because he looks like a pinche perro with those fucked up dientes." But at 24 years old, I say, no, I'm not going to do that. If he won't pay for Doug's teeth to get fixed, I'm not going to let him do that to this family. So she comes back and says, okay, he says he'll pay for Doug's too. Now will you go make those appointments? Get yourself out of pain? No, Doug first. Okay. And then after Doug got his teeth pulled, I went and got my teeth pulled at 24 and toothless. Changes your self-image in such a way. When you think you're the baddest thing to hit the face of the earth and you find out you're not, and you see the difference between the way people treat you, I can tell the difference between the way people treat me when I have a little bit of overgrowth and when I haven't shaved for a day or two. Imagine the difference when you're toothless. Point is, had he not paid for Doug's teeth to get fixed at the time, Doug may have spent another 5, 10, 20 years in that condition. But right after he got all his teeth pulled, he told everyone else he saw, dude, you need to go get those pricks jerked. When they're sitting there with stinking rotten shit coming out of their mouth that he knows putting them through pain all the time. It's like, dude, it's the best thing I ever did. Exhibit A. On to Exhibit B. I think this is when I was earlier. In fact, I know it was when I was younger. I was about 20. 21 maybe. Because the oldest of his 4 daughters, Dana, had essentially gotten kidnapped by the cartel, the Mexican mafia. Started out, she just started hanging out with some kids at school, sneaking out in the middle of the night. She got on some meth, and we hadn't seen her in a day or two, and starting to get worried. And then we're starting to get real worried. Calling the cops, saying you need to get her, you need to find her. She's run away. I don't know what's happened to her. Even when she's, hanging out with friends and shit, it ended up, she got that close to getting packed across the Mexican border. And if they'd have gotten her a little bit further, even just out of state and out of reach, they'd have pimped her out. We'd have never seen her again. So we had already gotten the cops involved for a couple days, and they kind of made a report. And at one point we received a report that a school field trip on their way down to Salem Ponds had seen Dana, because someone from the school recognized her. Hey, that's Dana. Yeah, she's been gone for a couple days. I know her dad's looking for her. We went down there, circled around the park a few times, didn't see shit. This also boils down to being the author of your own authority, just like I stopped a fucking home invasion robbery in Park City before I went to Missouri. Had a dude chasing me around Park City doing 70 and a 40 because he got a $50,000 truck, maybe a $100,000 truck, with a crackhead lady in the passenger who's got a small baby, and they keep asking people, oh, I don't need money, I just need a place to stay. Yeah, we live in Wyoming, and we went to Nevada to try and sell this truck, and they made fun of us, and they called us names, and why are people so rude? It's like, I don't have any money. Oh, I don't want any money, I just need a place to stay. Need a hotel room for the night. They're on their way back to Wyoming. All they had to do was drop down the hill another 30 minutes into Salt Lake, where hotel rooms are $45 a night, not $450 a night here in Park City. They run this scam on me once. I was like, sorry, man, I don't have no money and I'm not from here. And in Park City, 50, 60, 75% of the people there are staying in a Airbnb, someone else's house. And they were just hoping someone would let them in the door long enough they could say, all right, we're taking everything. You just stay calm and everything will be cool. They were going to do a home invasion robbery. And when you're ready to do a home invasion robbery and pressing it as hard as they were armed and they were dangerous. So he comes up to me on Main Street and I was like, dude, I don't know. I was doing something on my phone. I was like doing something real important, editing videos, right? Trying to upload something and he fucking interrupted me. So I take my car a few blocks away over to Fresh Market. I'm sitting in the Fresh Market parking lot. Rolls up alongside me again, and I do a double take. What the? At first, he starts trying to go on with his story again. I was like, the fuck? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I remember you now. 2 minutes early, he tried to run this same shit on me. I was like, I knew something was wrong. Real wrong. And I fucking gave him the look. He's like, sorry, man. Hey, sorry. And it's like, I said, yeah, okay. Hey, I'm sorry, man. He's like, dude, don't, you can tell that you've pissed me off. Because I can tell there's something wrong with you. You just ran this scam on me 5 minutes down the road and you don't even remember me? How fucking high are you? So I watch this guy keep trying to run this scam on 5 other people. I take down his plate, I call the cops. Let him know there's something going on with this guy. Describe the truck. Give him the report. Oh no, at first I drove. Because me and the cops in Park City had already had a run-in. And they let me go. They could have taken me in. But I pull up to these cops that are sitting there window to window. You know how cops pull their cruisers up next to each other, window to window, talking. And I pull in and I flash my lights a couple times so they know that I'm not trying to sneak up on them. Pull up. Open my door. I don't think I even walked up to him. I pulled up, opened my door close enough that I waved him and they come over to me. Told him I'm just an Uber driver here in Park City, and yeah, he said, yeah, I remember you. So well, that's the way the world works in mysterious ways, I guess. But there's this guy in a $50,000 truck trying to do run some sort of scam on people. And it's definitely a scam. He's trying to get people to let him in their hotel room, buy him a hotel room, and he's trying to get somebody at that point, I don't know if I'd figured it out yet. 10 minutes later, when I'm sitting here watching him run his scam on everyone that he can, I called the cops. I had already reported it to the cops in Park City, and it's a small town. I called the cops and I let them know. I gave them the report. This guy's trying to get a home invasion robbery to happen. If someone lets him in their house, that's what's going to happen. And I knew they can't do anything until he commits the crime. That's when I became the author of my own authority, because I am not restricted by such regulations, rules of engagement. And I keep following him and I keep watching him. And if he gets someone to let him in, I'm going to go tell those people, this guy's running a scam, don't let him in. Because I knew someone will think, I don't have the money to buy you a hotel room, but we got an extra room. I'm staying in Airbnb. That won't cost me nothing. And if he'd let them in, if they would have let him in, it would have cost him everything. So it's him and his girlfriend and a small kid for the sympathy factor. Oh, okay. But the way she told me the story, she ran the scam on me the first time. Out the passenger window of the truck. Second time, they roll up and he's trying to run his story on me. Same story. Slightly different. And so as I'm watching him, as I'm following him around, he sees me watching him. And as he's pulling out, he says, "You're going to jail! You're going to jail!" Because I'm following him around. I'm going to jail for watching you? Eventually, he chases me. He flips around and chases me because I'm following him around and he knows it. He flips around and chases me. We do 70 in a 40-mile-an-hour zone, and I'm fine with getting pulled over. Because this fucking crackhead don't scream at me, I'm going to jail, and do 70 mile an hour through a 40 if he's legit just looking for a place to stay. And I'm pretty sure he knew where the police department was. Because he's chasing me, and then he guns it to get around me. Does 70 and a 40 to get around me. and then turns on the street where the police department is, and I knew what he was doing. I knew if I go straight and he sees that I'm going straight when he's turning, he's going to come back and get behind me. So I wait till he's just far enough around the turn, like I'm following him, and then I cut off this way. I got out of town, but I threw enough of a wrench in his program. If he did a home invasion robbery, the next day when they got the report of it, they already had the license plate number of the truck. But at the time, they couldn't do anything about it until he commits the crime. So back to Dana's kidnapping. At 17 years old, when she got mixed up with some Mexican mafia cartel guys. And when the cops couldn't find her, and she'd been gone for a week now, he calls his buddy Frankie. Frankie and Ricky are buddies. He met one of them through the other. He thinks they're his friend. And he accredits Frankie for getting his daughter back for him throughout the rest of the years. There's different reasons for that, why he would choose to say Frankie got my daughter back for me, rather than the guy who really did it. We'll talk about that later, because I'm going to talk about schadenfreude and some of these the spirit that drives him from everything. I'm going to name a bunch of different examples, and it's all the same spirit. So he gives Frankie a call, and Frankie's wife does some sort of palm reading, crystal ball readings out of her living room, some sort of Santeria mojo stuff, right? He says, oh yeah, my wife says you take a piece of paper, you on a brown paper bag, you write her name, and then you put it underneath the candle, and then you pray, and something like that. And he thinks that's why he got his daughter back. And he keeps saying that. Later on, he tried to do it in some other instance, like when Melanie was in trouble or some shit. He still keeps that little piece of paper as if that fucking got him his daughter back, when I'm the one that stood in front of these cartel houses. So after he calls Frankie, eventually Frankie calls him back and says, in this way, Frankie gave him a good lead. It wasn't through the crystal ball magic mojo of your candle and your piece of fucking paper and her name written on it. Frankie gives him a lead of some boys that he knows she's been hanging out with that know Dana. We go over to this house, and it is a foster mom, a white lady, with about 6 or 8 16, 17-year-old Mexican boys, all Mexican boys tatted up, do-rags. Them Mexican boys were telling her what to do. You take us where to go. You work for us, bitch. And that's the name of the game in that household. And she receives like $750 a month for each one of them from the state to be their foster parent. And we get there, and Doug shows her a picture of Dana. And she goes, yeah, that's the girl. We just dropped her off. She was, and the boys aren't saying nothing. They're like, I don't know. And so the mom says, yeah, we had her. She was here. We dropped her off at this other house, and she gives us directions to some other house way out in the boonies in the middle of nowhere. And we get to this house, and we hit the right place. Knock on the door. Ask for Dana. No, man, your daughter ain't here. I ain't seen her. I don't know nothing. Oh, as we first pull up, I see someone's head duck under the window and slide this way, and it's brown hair. I said, I'll bet that was her. I saw someone duck, and I was like certain that was her. They said, she's not here. I said, well, this is the last lead we have, and if you let me come in and look around, we'll leave. Until then, I ain't leaving. They said, look, dude, and you could tell they were like, you're going to fucking get yourself hurt. She's not here. We went to the neighbors, asked them some questions. They said, I don't want nothing to do with it. Whatever you got going on, we don't want nothing to do with it. Just leave us out of it. They closed the door, closed the curtains, so the neighbors know that we rejected them and we turned them away. They know those guys are bad fucking news. Do not get us involved in whatever you got going on with those guys. And this is out in the middle of the boonies where there ain't a fucking... houses are a half mile apart. You could shoot someone. No one would come. I was there for 45 minutes and the sheriff never showed up because Doug left. This was before cell phones. This is like in the year 2000. 2001 maybe. Dana was 17. I'm only about 4 years older than her. So it put us about in 2001. And Doug leaves in the car. And I stay there. Kind of halfway ducked behind a tree, so if they take a shot at me, it might miss. And I might have the protection of the tree. And I watch them throw a bunch of shit in the trunk of a car, and that car leaves. And then another car throws a bunch of shit in the trunk of the car, and that car leaves. Whatever contraband they threw in there, guns, drugs, money, all of the above. The heat was on, because this fucking crazy gringo won't leave, and he don't realize he's gonna get himself fucking killed. But we got other shit to worry about right now, or I'd drop his ass right where he stands. But we got all this drugs and money and whatever contraband they threw in the trunk. We got this cartel operation going on, and we got too much on the line, or I'd handle this motherfucker right here. So they take their shit and they split. 45 minutes by the time Doug gets back, he's trying to get the sheriff there. I think he went to a payphone to call the sheriff and give him the address and say, get the sheriff out here so he can go through this house because we think that's where my daughter is. Finally, Doug comes back. Sheriff still ain't showed up. We said, and he found another lead. I don't remember how he found this other lead. Which led us to Santa Quinn at a apartment complex, like a fourplex. Knock on the door, is Dana here? Some little chola bitches stroking her hair coming, I don't know where your fucking daughter or your fucking sister is, eh? Shit. I was like, yep, she was here. Just the way this girl's acting, obviously, she was here. Possibly still is. These bitches know where the fuck she is and they ain't giving it up. And at this point, we're still not sure if Dana's voluntarily with them and just on the run and trying to, because she was ducking and dodging. Like we would get to the house she was just at 5 minutes later. Like she would get a call ahead. They're coming over that way. All right, get her out of there. As soon as we get there, Dana just left. So this house we got, this apartment complex we got to in Santa Quinn, fourplex. Once again, Doug leaves me there to try and go follow some other lead. And while I'm standing out front, no weapon, no gun, no cell phone, no car. Once again, this is the last lead I have, and I'm not leaving until I get my little sister. So unless you have a better lead for me and you can tell me where she is, this is the last place I know she was, and I ain't leaving. Got grandma, this is while Doug was gone. Got grandma up there on some crutches saying, I come whoop your ass myself, gringo, if I wasn't on crutches. Some dude comes out to me with scars all over his face. You got a problem, man? Nope. Yeah, my problem is I need my sister back. Oh, okay. Well, she's not here. Oh, okay. Well, this is the last place I knew she was, and I ain't leaving until I get her back. I'm waiting here. This is while Doug's gone. He said, okay, you better wait on the other side of the street, eh? I said, okay. And I waited on the other side of the street, on the other corner, watching this apartment complex. And one of these little hair-stroking chola bitches walks out down the street, and I'm fucking watching her wondering, should I follow her? What the fuck's going on? Doug pulls up. I said, follow that girl. We follow that girl, and around the corner near the Dairy Queen in Spanish Fort, we see Dana crossing the road. That girl had just walked into a pizza parlor or something where they had her stashed and fucking ran her out the door. We see Dana. We pull up next to her. Say, Dana, get your ass in this car. I can run faster than you. She's got her hoodie up over her head. Get your ass in this car. I can run faster than you. Don't make me get out. She gets in the car. Yet he attributes his daughter coming home to Frankie and a piece of paper with some writing on it, when I'm the guy that told him, follow that girl, and 30 seconds later you had your daughter in the car? There's reasons he wants to attribute what I've done for him. See, there's been plenty of my ex-girlfriend. My contributions in our relationship were up here, and hers were down here. So she would always exaggerate and inflate and even fabricate her contributions and minimize and decrease and deflect and deny my contributions, so it seemed like it was like we were equally contributing partners in this relationship. Doug does the same thing because he's always got something to prove. So much so that for the longest time, once again, this is about a diary, so most of you, this video ain't for you. I might even put it on private. There's a hill out front that I took from a dead eyesore to a little oasis with water flowing down it because there was a little crack in a pipe, and I uncovered it, and it was a terraced hill and to a stairway up this way and a stairway up that way. And it went from the dead, ugly eyesore with that much pine needles covering all this stuff, and I just removed the pine needles. Turns out it's layered under there, and there's a little hole with a spring coming up out of it, and I made that water go back and forth down the layers. And so shit started growing all over, birds started coming. I put a little bench under there, kids walking through would sit on the bench under the little thing, under the little tree, on the corner of the hill, under the lookout. It's like a little green, lush oasis. In one summer. And he did everything he could to get rid of that. Because that which I brought beauty to, he wanted to restore the ugliness to. Because every time someone said how great it looked, that doesn't reflect, I mean mine. That reflects Jeff's contributions. And I'm the king of the castle here. You're going to compliment me on something, compliment all the shit I do. So he had a big problem with me working on that hill out there. And at first it was, that's not even my property, that's the city's property. So much so that I remember my sister Kayla saying, I don't know why they have such a problem with you doing this to this hill. I think it looks awesome. So yeah, me too. Over the next year or two, he was bound and determined to get rid of what I had created. Because every time someone compliments how great it looks, it's like somehow it hits him in the ego. Yeah, fuck that. Eventually, he calls the city and tells them, oh, there's a leak in the pipe and you need to come fix it, that mud's going to slide down the hill and I'm going to be responsible on my homeowner's insurance for a mudslide. But wait a minute, I thought that was the city's property. He would find any reason he could to try to destroy what I had created. And ever since, he says, that didn't happen. Oh no, I didn't. I had no problem with that hill that you created. Bullshit. And Doug, until you can acknowledge that you had a big problem. Oh no, the city came and did that. Oh no, it was when they put the sidewalk there. That same spirit that leads you to want to blow out someone else's candle to make yours glow brighter. And when someone compliments how nice that looks, it reflects someone else's work, not your own. So you want to destroy it? We're going to talk about this spirit of schadenfreude, harm joy. That's the German translation into English. The Germans have a word called schadenfreude, harm joy. We don't have a word in English to describe this spirit, but it flows through a lot of people, and I'm going to give you multiple examples. But it's the same general spirit of rebellion, wanting to prove something. You got a scorecard to prove, mostly to your dad, that you try to compensate for that balance owing in your relationship with me. And that's why over the years I've said this many times, directly to Doug and to Mom. We can't work together, whether it's working on breaks or anything. No matter what we're working on, I've learned over the years, if I say, oh, you could grab this wrench and then just turn that nut this way, I know he's not going to do that. He's going to go to great lengths to do it any other way other than what I just said, to prove to me he's the better man. He's got a better idea. Even if it takes 10 times as long and produces half as good of results, at least he did it his way. That's the spirit that the police officer in Missouri, he said, I know you've been trying to do things your own way for a while, and I know you're here for a reason, but you're in this guy's driveway at 4 a.m. and he's just trying to go to work, so I got to tow your car. So Doug has this spirit that kicks in. It's the same spirit that made him shoot at me with a BB gun the other day. And said, I didn't just shoot at you, while he's still sitting there on a dead rest with his eye behind the sights. Missed me by inches. Probably doesn't even understand how he missed me or why, because he was 20, 30 feet away, and he sat there on the dead rest, and he timed it, waited for me to clip this branch, and then this branch, and as I moved over to move this branch, pow. I hear pow. Psh, what? Ding! You just fucking shot at me. What the fuck? No, I didn't. That spirit took over, that impulse, and we're going to talk about this animalistic impulse. So he's got this spirit that's been running through him for our entire relationship. So much so that I know we can't work on anything together. Just the other day, 3-4 days ago, 5 days maybe, we were towing a couple cars out of the backyard down to the junkyard. The trailer's on a hill, and it needs to move this way a little. So you can move this wheel up. You can move this wheel up and put the block under it. Or you can pull the block out from under this one and move this wheel down. I choose this wheel. He said, no, do the other wheel. I go, because we've been through this so many times. As he sees me go, oh, no, you're right, yeah, just do that wheel. It doesn't matter which wheel. If I would have chosen that wheel, he would have said, no, do this wheel. If I would have chosen that wheel, no, do this wheel. And I've learned through the years, don't tell him, here's the solution. You just grab it here and you go like that. No, here, I'll show you. I got a better way. Here, let me show you how it's really supposed to be done. And that spirit that drives him disengages the mind, causes him to go through to great lengths. Because he's got something to prove. And it's a spiritual drive. Now this schadenfreude, harm joy, something he engages in a lot. When he's driving through an intersection, and he can see that the guy here is waiting on him, and he has to go through the intersection so the other guy can go, he'll slow it down a little bit. And wait for the guy to go, fuck you, and I got him. You know the song, like the song, put a tack on teacher's chair, somebody snitched on me, I ain't getting nothing for Christmas. Why would you put a tack on teacher's chair? Oh, to give her pain, and it gives me joy to see her in pain. He's the one who talks about doing a top shelf. You shit in the tank of the toilet instead of in the bowl. That way someone has to come clean it out. Who? Anyone, don't matter. That's a spirit that drives you in ways you don't understand to shoot at me. And it's that other part of you that you don't know exists that leaves you holding the bag of responsibility. So I didn't just do that. No, I didn't do that. Oh, I didn't try and get that hill that you made torn down and destroyed because it was beauty that didn't reflect me. And so I wanted to restore the ugliness. Every time I clean up inside his house or his yard, he runs back out there and spreads shit around again. Restore the chaos. Because once it's order, well, fuck, this don't look like my house. This looks more like something Jeff did. Here, let me grab some shit from over there and over here and over here. Spread some shit around again. He's been doing this our whole lives. He can't get a hold of that spirit because it's got a hold of him and he won't acknowledge it even exists. I didn't shoot at you. Because if that other spirit wants to sit in the background and have Doug not even know that this other spirit exists and that this is the other part of him, in order that this spirit can control him like the puppet on the strings. I'm going to make a deal with the bad wolf so the bad wolf don't bite no more. The angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other. The good wolf, the bad wolf, which will you feed? That's a song by AWOLNATION. Bad wolf. It also talks in that song about the hollow moon. Because I'll be singing to you from the hollow moon or something like that. So he's got this spirit that drives him in ways that he doesn't understand, in ways that he has no control over, because he doesn't even acknowledge this other part of him exists. So I'm going to tell you about schadenfreude, what that spirit is, and give you another example. And then I'm going to tell you about that car just the other day when he's going to sell someone a lemon. And we'd already discussed how fucked up that is for the person who gets the lemon and they really needed that car and they might even want to come back and kick your ass. And at that point, he was like, yeah, that's fucked up shit to do. I can't do that to somebody. And then the next day, shows up with that car and tries to run his smoke screen on me. I didn't come ask him, what are you doing? What are you doing with the car? And I'm going to tell you about the 3-ring vision. Anger, pity, justification. Anger, pity, justification. Regarding the shame, the things you feel guilty and shameful for, and that fear of alienation and rejection, and why that 4th step in AA of cleaning out your closet of those skeletons matters so much, where you make that personal moral inventory and when and where possible, make amends to those who you've wronged. So let me just give you a quick example of what schadenfreude means. And I don't know if it's clicked over to the next video or yet not yet. Usually it clicks over to the next video by now. 35 minutes into this. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, I don't know how long it was, but I'm pretty sure he remembers the day, and if not, he knows plenty of other examples. It's the only joy, feeling of satisfaction some people get, is harm joy. And one day, him and I are on our way to wherever we're going, laughing our asses off about something. And Mom calls, "Hey, honey." Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Because that's how he treats her. She don't respect him for it. It's an abusive, codependent relationship.